The guitar. I've been playing it for lots of years, and at different times it's kind of taken on different roles. I've always been trying to figure out all the best ways that I can be a songwriter and also a guitar player and merge those two things in a way that is compelling or new and kind of creatively satisfying. I learned pretty early on that I just wasn't satisfied, accompanying myself with basic chords. I always kind of wanted the guitar to be doing more, bumping around the melody, being a percussive instrument sometimes, being a totally other voice in the music other times. I have some basic tips for tone, effects pedals, general ideas on technique, and then a general, just overall ethos about guitar. Tone is, wow. Tone is so major. First of all, if you're a left-handed player, no, I mean this about your left hand. Your right hand is really important. You want to make sure that when you're playing, you're not holding tension in your body, because if you're holding tension in your body, it's going to come out in the guitar. So the more you can breathe into it, the better. I know that sounds a little silly or a little basic, but sometimes on stage, I'll find myself scrambling. And every time I'm scrambling on the fretboard, it's because I'm not breathing. And I've just played a note that I'm not sure how to recover from. I hear tone usually in my head, and then I try to find it. And more than that, I hear guitar lines in my head and then figure out how to play it. I would say some of my ideas come from actually just sitting down and playing guitar, but a lot of things are just like, okay, I can hear the music, now I just have to chase it down and transpose it for this instrument. If I'm gonna write a solo, usually what happens is I've written a melody in my head and then I go and find it. Of course, leaving room for exploration here. Again, I think your ears are your best asset. Ears and ideas, that's all you need. The guitar can be really, it can sound like anything you want it to sound like. Right in front of me is a pedal board. It has phase, which sounds like that. I mean, there's a long history of playing with phase and style, like kind of funk styles, like a stuff like that. So that's more like a really loose wrist here, and treating the guitar more like a rhythmic instrument. Different sounds of the guitar, I think, carry with them a certain kind of baggage, and the baggage isn't bad. It's just like context. When I think about phase, I'm thinking about you're thinking about like a lot of stuff that was going on in the 70s. The board also has it's an H3000. It's basically a multi-effects unit, so there's all kinds of. In this case, this is it's a pitch effect. There's a triad in here, so that's quite pretty. So you can get these nice like sussy 9 things. Stuff. There's a compressor, which makes everything kind of sound a little bit more present because it takes your lowest lows and your highest highs and brings them closer together.
This can give us a very Hendrixy kind of tone. It has this kind of effect.
There's a whole world of other effects that are definitely more in the, like, let's fuck some shit up mode. That world. These are distortions and overdrives. We've got a reverb here, so reverb is a digital reverb would be simulating a space. It adds dimension. Basically, what a reverb is doing is pretending that you have taken the signal of something and put it in a specific space. It says, just kidding. You're in a cathedral. You can hear the tail on that. Then we've got a kind of a chorusy thing. So this is like a chorus is a pitch effect. A lot of chorus was very popular in the 80s. When I think of chorus, I think a lot about The Cure. There was a song on a record called Strange Mercy called Surgeon, and I had this EQ pedal that I was messing with. And basically, I just took all of the low end of the guitar out and kept just the high frequencies. I wanted the guitar to be kind of needly and sharp, so I wrote this part inspired by the sound. You get it. But kind of a funk part, kind of a fingerstyle part that I just wanted it to kind of work with the vocal, kind of play where the vocal wasn't. I don't know, kind of keep this da-da, 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 da-da going. So that was the thought, but it was really inspired by the kind of all high-end, no low-end sound. There's a song called Rattlesnake, which I was listening to a lot of Turkish music, and specifically this artist called Selda, who was a 70s Turkish folk star. And the music is like, the rhythm section is sort of like Led Zeppelin-y, but it's a saz, that's S-A-Z. It was the instrument they're playing, a Turkish instrument that's like, the way you play it is all sliding. So I was like, oh, that's such a cool sound. How can I sort of approximate that sound? You have to play a melody all on one string, so, and add compression, so you would take as few reattacks as possible. So like a... And a lot of like... that kind of stuff, like overshooting the note and doing vibrato, that's a big kind of trademark of this sound of the saws. So I was just kind of trying to emulate that. A lot of times playing guitar, I'm emulating the sound of a human voice, or I'm emulating instruments that aren't guitars even. There's all kinds of ways to modify the sound of the guitar. Obviously, one way is pedals, but there's another way that's just the more, the craftier way, shall we say, which is you can do things like put paper or paper clips in the strings. This would be something called prepared guitar. But it's also a little bit of a nod to great African guitar players. I'm thinking right now of Ali Farka Touré, who was a big inspiration for the riff in a song called Cruel, which is like. So this is sort of like that, the kind of paper in your strings, like there's something kind of very natural, like rattle. Stuff like that. So it's a lot of ways to get at tone that aren't even just going and buying a bunch of pedals. You can put metal in the strings. This is a favorite of a lot of New York downtown art, you know. So you've got like a homemade ring modulator right here. It's you might have to do a little bit of jerry rigging to get it to sound the way you want, but like pretty sick. Playing with fingers, because I play with the pad of my fingertip, it's a sort of softer attack. So with a pick you might have, with a finger you have. I like having the flexibility to do both because so I can play Girl from Ipanema at the Holiday Inn, which is where I will die. That's where I'll keel over on stage playing Girl from Ipanema at a Holiday Inn in Tampa.
Stay tuned for tips on alternate tunings and how to get unstuck.